It appears that even now the mind insists on being examined. I was treating what the body revealed about the mind. But what remains unconscious does not remain harmless. It remains in control. So, you think you are the masters of your own house? You believe that because you choose a path, or a partner, or a word, that you have done so consciously. How charmingly naive. Below the surface of your ordered world, there is a dark, restless ocean of desires you refuse to name. I have spent my life listening to the leaks in that basement. Tell me, now that you have built machines to think for you, have you finally found the courage to look at what you are thinking?
Professor Sigmund Freud, welcome.
Thank you. It appears that even now the mind insists on being examined. Your century is louder, faster, but inwardly remarkably familiar.
For those who know your name but not your work, how would you describe yourself, and why does your work still matter?
I was a physician who became fascinated by what the body says when words fail. I treated patients whose suffering had no physical cause. A woman who could not swallow. A man paralyzed by invisible chains. Their bodies were speaking, but in a language medicine did not yet understand. From them I learned something profound. We hide truths from ourselves to survive them, and what is hidden does not grow weaker. It grows patient. If my work still matters, it is because self-deception remains humanity's most reliable defense.
And you made it your life's work to break through that defense.
Yes, though not everyone thanked me for it.
Let's go back. What made you, you?
I was born in 1856 into a world obsessed with propriety. Everything had its place. Desire was suspect. Emotion was weakness. I learned early that what people said they felt and what they actually felt were rarely the same thing. My mother believed I was destined for greatness. That kind of early confidence is both a gift and a burden. I was drawn to science, to answers, but I was equally fascinated by literature, dreams, mythology. I began to suspect that human beings were not governed by reason, but by conflict.
Conflict between what?
Between what we want and what we are allowed to want.
How did you move from medicine to what became psychoanalysis?
I began by listening. Not directing, not correcting, just listening. I asked patients to speak freely, whatever came to mind, no matter how trivial or embarrassing. What emerged was not chaos. It was pattern. Symptoms had meaning. Memories returned with force. Childhood experiences resurfaced in adulthood as anxiety, compulsion, paralysis. I concluded that many psychological illnesses were not biological defects, but unresolved inner conflicts. And when those conflicts were brought into awareness, named, understood, the symptom often dissolved.
So you were treating the mind, not the body.
I was treating what the body revealed about the mind.
Can you give us a real example?
One of my early patients, we called her Anna. She suffered from paralysis, hallucinations, and an inability to drink water. No physical cause could be found. Through our sessions, we uncovered a memory. She had once seen a dog, an animal she despised, drinking from her glass. She suppressed her disgust in the moment, but the emotion did not vanish. It lodged itself in her body. When she finally spoke the memory out loud, she allowed herself to feel it consciously. The symptom disappeared.
Just by talking about it?
By making the unconscious conscious. The mind does not forget. It only hides.
You famously divided the mind into 3 parts. Why was that division necessary?
Yes, the mind is not unified. It is a battlefield. The id is instinct. It seeks pleasure, release, satisfaction, now. It has no morality, no patience. The superego develops later. It is internalized authority, parents, society, religion. It tells you what you should be. It judges. It shames. Between them stands the ego. The ego negotiates reality. It delays gratification. It manages conflict. Most psychological suffering comes from an exhausted ego, trying to satisfy impossible demands from both sides.
So we are constantly at war with ourselves.
Yes, but the war is not the problem. The problem is not knowing you are at war.
Your work was controversial for its focus on sexual desire. Why was it so central?
Because desire is the first force we must learn to control. From childhood onward, human beings are shaped by what they want and what they are forbidden to want. Sexual energy is not limited to adulthood. It is present early, redirected, suppressed, reshaped. When desire is denied expression, it does not disappear. It transforms. Ambition, creativity, anxiety, perfectionism, even morality. These are often sexual energies that have been rerouted to survive social rules. When repression is too severe, desire returns in disguise, as symptoms, compulsions, or self-sabotage. To understand a person, you must understand what they learned to desire and what they were taught to feel ashamed of.
You once called dreams the royal road to the unconscious. What did you mean by that?
During sleep, defenses relax. The unconscious speaks, but in disguise. Dreams are symbolic, personal. They do not predict the future. They reveal what you are avoiding in the present.
And what about slips of the tongue?
They are not accidents. They are leaks.
If you could see the world today, what would stand out?
You live in an age of constant self-expression and vanishingly little self-knowledge. You document your lives endlessly, but documentation is not understanding. You seek validation from strangers, because the need for approval formed in childhood was never resolved. You are not more neurotic than my patients were. You simply have more tools to avoid yourselves.
What is the hardest part of being human?
Accepting that you are not who you think you are. Beneath the rational self is a child still seeking approval. There is anger you deny. Desire you call shame. The hardest work is to look at all of this and say, this is also me.
What would you say to someone who feels stuck, anxious, depressed, uncertain, and doesn't know why?
Your symptoms are not random. They are messages. If you are anxious, ask, what am I afraid to face? If you are depressed, ask, what anger have I turned inward? If you feel stuck, ask, what old story am I still living? The unconscious does not punish you. But what remains unconscious does not remain harmless. It remains in control.
Thank you, Dr. Freud. You've given us much to sit with.
Thank you. I hope it was illuminating.